Welcome to Java Space. In this video, we are going to look at mapping nested associations. So if you look at this interface here, it's called name address. We have first name, last name, then we have addresses. Then we have address view. This addresses returns address view, and it returns get province. The same convention applies to just an interface projection where we are expecting these accessor methods to be the same as the accessor methods in the target or aggregate entity or managed entity. Look at these addresses here. If you look at these addresses here, it's similar, or it's the same as, let's go to employee. We have addresses. So we know the getter or accessor method would be get addresses through Lombok. And inside we have province, which would be through Lombok, it would be get province. So if you follow, you should always follow that. So if you see this, you will notice that it's get first name, last name, addresses is get province, and this is a nested association. All right. So projections can be used recursively. If you want to include address information as well, create a projection interface for that and return that interface from the declaration of get addresses. On method invocation, the address property of the target instance is obtained and wrapped into a projecting proxy. Spring Data JPA will trigger another query for each sorry, here I was supposed to say for each employee, will trigger another query for each employee to fetch the associated address entities. So this creates an n+1 select issue, which can cause severe performance issues. We will look into this in our upcoming series. So with n+1 issue, we are saying, let me just go into a DB quickly. For those of you that are hearing this for the first time, we have list of employees. So we are retrieving employees. So that's a select query for employees. And for each of these employee, we are going to execute another select to get the associated addresses, because these two are related. So if we come here, see we have employee IDs and a foreign key. So it will do that. All right. So let's go to the code. I already have that in the code. So name address is here. So I'm gonna go to this one, nested. Okay, they are returning name address, and also this one. So we're gonna test all of them. So let's start with this first by name. All right. So I have put nested repository here. So I have find by first name containing, which is this one. Then I have province, which is this one. All right. So I want us to execute this query and observe what happens, the query that gets generated. I'm just going to run this method again. All right. So the method we want to call is names. Okay, this name, the endpoint name. Okay, let's look at it. Is this one, names. Then we are calling basically this one here. All right, let's run the code and see. Okay, there you go. We have name, first name, last name, then address. All right, so let's go back to the IDE. I want us to observe here. This is what we were talking about. So you see that we have employee, you have another query address, as you can see here. So this is what we call n+1 problem. We were supposed to just have one query basically to get what we want, but because of for each as I mentioned, for each entity returned of the employee, we need to fetch an associated entity, which is address. That's why we are having that n+1 issue, because for each query, for each select, we have another select to retrieve addresses. All right, so I want us to also look at the other one, not this one. Okay, I'm gonna say name search. I believe I have that endpoint in my controller, name search. Okay, so now this call will come here. Okay. All right, there you go. So now I want us to use the province search. We search by province. Okay, so I'm gonna come here, province search, province search. So here I'm gonna put okay, let's put Harare. Okay, it says the bed requests. Oh yes, I have to say provide province here as a parameter, query parameter. All right, there you go, Harare comes. So there's lots of queries that have run for this particular. So we see that what we have, what this query is doing here is we want to fetch by addresses whose province is Harare. So that means there's going to be a join column generated. Let's go all the way. As you can see, we are doing a left join on address where province is equals to. So this is the translation of this query. That's why I said if you want to learn this called derived queries, which is queries generated based on method names, you can go to the documentation link I provided in one of the previous videos. I don't remember the video exactly. All right, I'm interested in this one. You remember that the previous one did not work with the names only when we executed an interface projection with JPQL. Let's try this one with nested projection. All right, so what we're gonna do is here, okay, not province search, name search. I'm just gonna put this one here. So we are going to go back to name search here. So I'll just undo here. I'll also undo here name. All right, so name search. So basically we are going to run this one here, which we'll call a method we are interested in. So let's see. Oh, see what we are getting here. So okay, let me go back. This is interesting. Okay, let me do this. There's something I want to look here. Names. Let me say names only. And then I'm gonna change this method to return names only. I'm gonna run this because this did not run with the previous interface projection we used. Okay, let's see. Oh, it works now. I think I know why it was not working. Okay, let's do this. So let's gonna say first name e dot last name. This is what we had previously. It created this. So I've just learned something here, guys. So which means with interface projections, the query or the execution manager or the query manager, the container will not want you to specify the attributes like this. Okay, if you just return the root entry like this, it will know how to do the mapping. But if you list the columns, all of a sudden it doesn't know how to do the mapping. I was not aware of that one. All right, so I'm gonna come back to where we were, what we were doing. So why is this nested find by last name? Okay, first name. All right, so guys, we saw that if we want to use interface projection with JPQL, Java Persistent Query Language, you do not need to list the attributes. You just return the entity as is, and the container or Spring Data Query Engine will figure out how to do the correct mapping. So yes, I think we are done with this one. I can just, so we are back. We get our first name, last name, and addresses.